Pecha Kucha 196, Streets of Rage 4, art stuff. So there's a Steam summer sale, which means everything goes on sale. Streets of Rage 4 was on my watch list. It went on sale, so I bought it. It's 100% nostalgia porn, let's say. If you enjoyed the original trilogy, either at the time or in any of the countless remasters, you will enjoy this. It's silly, it's nonsense, it's fun. It's not made by Sega, but they gave permission to these guys to make it. It's the best fan game you'll probably ever play. And there's a lot of promotional material, behind the scenes work in the game, which is, I just love this stuff, because really this is what I should be doing if I'm not spending all week playing Kenshi. It's a strange thing, because they've basically had all of the characters already designed. They don't want to stray too far away from the characters, like they're trying to reinvent the wheel, but they do want to make it seem fresh, cool, and relevant, for effectively either for the same audience 20 years later or their kids. And, they gave Axel a beard. Do I go in for that? Not really, but it's not like I have a strong opinion on any of this. But I do like the fact that they've got these reference sheets, for Blaze, and all of the characters they've updated. They've, got old references from the old games, and they've tried to keep the essence of the characters as they've moved forward. Nothing like a costume sheet to show all the minor changes that they went through that, never made it to the light of day. This being a hand-drawn game, these aren't skins that they could just drop into the game. They'd have to redraw the sprites from every angle for these costumes to work. There are 5 characters. The promotional art for the guy who is the Samoan cyborg shows that originally he was Max Payne from Max Payne 3, apparently. He was a bald dude with a beard. It's interesting that they kind of went through iterations, and I do appreciate that they show this kind of stuff. So after they decided bald with a beard was a bit too much, they decided he should have that kind of, I guess, Hulk mohawk thing he had in one of his many iterations, and then they thought that's a bit lacking, and then ultimately they gave him Samoan tattoos and a kind of ponytail thing going on. Floyd is the only character I haven't played as yet, because he looks like he's the throw specialist, like Max on the right here from Streets of Rage 2. I don't know if I'm saving the best for last, because I played as Adam, and Adam's definitely my favourite. He's bullshit. I love it. There are no real weak characters. It's just personal preference. The Streets of Rage 4 really prides itself on trying to just be kind of an update of Streets of Rage. Mostly 1. Ironically, Abadede in the bottom left, the wrestler guy, is in all the promotional artwork, but isn't in the actual game. It really does make you think it's a Kickstarter game when, they break the first promises they keep, because that seems to be one of those things, right? But it is nice to see the artist's direct comparison, maybe a little too direct. Some of the characters, like the biker dude with the biker helmets, they got redesigned pretty much entirely. And then they also show you the artist kind of... I don't know if he got told to pull the plug on the ones that never made it into the game at all, the updates. But not all of this artwork, as you can see, is as finished as the sprites that they did ultimately decide to use. And then there's Master Wong here. So I don't want to jump into a race thing, but this guy's obviously Asian, but the fact that he's obviously Asian, is that reason to take offense? I don't know. I don't want to, because I haven't got time in the day to get upset over everything, especially when it's really not about me. And the game itself is kind of pretty tongue-in-cheek across the board. If you were Japanese, would this offend you? I don't know. Should it? If you're not Japanese, does it offend you as a cliched representation of a Japanese person with the big crazy, I don't know what the word for it is, hair, Yakuza undertones? Not a problem for me to worry about. But yeah, you fight in this game both the criminals and the cops, and they fight each other too. I love how hench everybody is. The police chief is clearly the chief because he's the toughest, meanest son of a bitch ever. He throws guns like he doesn't know what guns are. I love it. He's the best. But my favourite additional character is the Dylan, guy who keeps his hands in his pockets and then when he feels like it decides to throw out dirty roundhouse kicks. I like the art style. I like the mood that they portray. I just think it's great. Moving on from the characters to some of the actual stage art. It's great actually being able to see the roughs get turned into tighter pencils, and then they actually get fully rendered. And then the thing is, it's not concept art because this is a hand-drawn game. The final art is simply the stage upon which you scroll through, beating up the sprites, which have also been hand-drawn. And while it's weird because it's like it's new now because nobody does this anymore. It feels special, even though realistically it's kind of a cheap budget way to make a game. Nevertheless, I quite like what they've done. I'm not that big a fan of Streets of Rage, but I do enjoy a scrolling beat 'em up, and I shouldn't pretend that I don't. Is it worth 20 quid? Well, maybe more because you want to support the developers. Then you're gonna get value for money. That's your personal preference. So Sad Clown of the Week would be the Streets of Rage original soundtrack, which is very obviously missing from this game, even though it's advertised as being part of it. I strongly suspect that the soundtrack is not owned by Sega. It's owned by, Yuzo Koshiro, the guy who developed it. The title screen of Streets of Rage literally has 2 different copyrights, one for Sega and one for him. I don't think he gave them the rights to the music, therefore they made some awful Game Boy Color remixes or something. It's only sad in the fact that they advertised that you were going to get A and you end up with like B-. It's not on. You don't want to lie to consumers about things like that. But yeah, I did do stuff this week. I'm just not showing it. But this is a prescient reminder of what I should be doing. Instead of playing the game, I should be helping to design them. But that brings us to the end of Pecha Kucha 196, and I'll see you next time.